uh, employment to the society, to the people living in the society, right? And they must provide the training to the employees, right? So that they can develop themselves to provide the services in the future so that they can develop themselves, right? So a lot of social aspects are also there. And during the pandemic, we can realize the social aspect, right? That how the companies need to be social so that overall we have a very sustainable system, right? So this is about the sustainable supply chain. So earlier, the focus has been more on recycling, right? So recycling means we convert the product whenever it comes to the end of use. I use the end of use, maybe it is damaged in the middle, or it be like some defective products we cannot use. So recycling means we converting it directly into the raw material, and then we use the product as a raw material. While life cycle means we focus on the life of the product, right? Rather than just recycling. So just I give you an example. You are using a mobile phone, right? And it becomes useless, right? By the reuse of the product. So the transition of supply chain is rather than focusing on recycling the product, we must focus on the life cycle of the product. Just you focus on the, just you see the last 20 years, I see from my childhood, you used to buy the durable product, the product which have a longer life, right? And when the product have longer life, we don't buy the new product, right? Just I remember, and during my childhood, in my town, we were used to have a fan which we are using even today. And we are using because they are durable, they have a longer life cycle. But what happened after that, more production from the China and low cost and customer wants new and new products every day. That shorted the life cycle of the product. Shorter life cycle means now we have a product which we want to use for a shorter period of time, and then we switch to new product. When we switch to new product, this product becomes obsolete, right? And we don't use that, and it creates a waste, right? So we will talk more about that. So now, then, when the Chinese manufacturing increased in India, increased and more products are coming to India from China, then what happened? Focus has been shifted more to use and throw products, right? Means even in the pen or refill we are using, or whatever pen we were using, they were like use and throw. Means you cannot reuse them. They were packed, or many electrical motors, and even in the pump in the cooler, you cannot reuse that, right? Because it is use and throw. So the from a very durable products, we move to the product to the use and throw, which is causing a lot of problems, right? Lot of wastage being collected at different sites, and we don't know how to tackle those waste, right? And so now the focus in last few years, focus has been again shifted to the increasing the life cycle of the product. That is very important. Once you have a longer life cycle, means you are not using the new product, and you are utilizing or maximizing the use of the current product, right? Whatever you are using. And so transition is from recycle to life cycle. So it is good for the brand, right? But earlier the focus has been more on the brand. Now it says this is good for the bottom line. Here, writing good for bottom line means focus is, when a company is following the environmental and social issues, right? So now sustainability or sustainable supply chain. It is good overall a bottom line of the company. Let us not tell the customer. So earlier customer was not informed, but nowadays we first want to tell the customer that we are an environmental friendly company, or some of you may buy the product which are more environmental friendly. Just take the example of that. So earlier they were using the uh, cardboard for the packaging. Now they are using the mushroom material for the packaging, right? So that is more environmental friendly, right? So earlier we were ignoring the natural cycles. Now focus has been shifted to mimic the natural cycles. So earlier the thought was that people are replaceable, means if one will not work for me, other person can work. But nowadays we think more that people are the capital. So we must train them, we must provide the platform for the growth, right? So now the organizations assume them as a capital. So earlier the organizations were seen more as a machine. Now uh, the organizations are treated more as a learning organization. Means not only the organization, employees, every stakeholder, we are learning with the time, and it is not so mechanical in nature now. Earlier we say that green is enough. So now the corporate social responsibility is also there. So there is also a lot of confusion regarding green and sustainable, right? So I think green is more the product oriented, right? And focus is more on uh, minimization of energy, and more focus is on neat and clean energy, means the energy minimum use of energy and neat and energy, right? So green is more focused on economic and environmental aspect of sustainability. If I talk from the triple bottom line aspect, but now the corporate social responsibility has also been included, right? And this is a part of social uh, sustainability, right? Social component of the sustainability. And just you can realize during the pandemic, PM Care Fund was, accumulated and it was being used during the pandemic, and it helped the country to help the government to, uh, providing the money and other assistance to the citizens, right? Poor people and the people who are in need. So this fund was utilized, even this fund was utilized to develop the medical facilities, right? And so uh, this fund was utilized for buying the even the oxygen plants across the country, and all of this fund was coming from the organizations. Many organizations donated the money in the PM Care Fund under corporate social responsibility, right? So when the company provides the money under corporate social responsibility, they get the tax rebate, and they are bound to spend 2% of their profit on the corporate social responsibility. So whatever profit they gain in a particular year, 2% of that they spend as this is mandated by the law, right? So when the PM Care Fund was included in the corporate social responsibility, then the company who donated the money in the PM Care Fund, they got the tax rebate also. So that was the one of the advantage to the organizations. But at the same time, we had money which helped the people, right? Which helped the government to overcome the economic shutdown or whatever problems we had during the pandemic. And it is helping even today. So this is one of the example you can see the social responsibility, right? And lot of organization offers, just like there is a Wipro organization, then there are the organizations, many charity organizations are run by ITC, right? Then there is Infosys also run the organizations, right? And some, uh, so these are corporate social responsibility. Uh, they run the some programs, right? And those are helping the in the society, right? So business was earlier the business was product or service, and now the business is organizing the human resources and system, right? So as I told, in the green, we focus more on the products. In the sustainability, we focus more on the system, right? So internal and pollution prevention was the only objective earlier. Nowadays, the matters were more internal. Now companies try to provide the system solutions. They focused on new market, and factors are more external than internal, right? So these are some of the comparisons I tried to make between the when the transition is going on from the traditional business or supply chain to the new form of business or supply chain, right? So, but there are limitations of linear economy, like rising prices for raw materials and energy, and particularly when this during in pandemic and in last 4, 5, 6 years, or even in this month, in last 1 month, you you see the prices of energy are going higher and higher. Even today, I read that there is a shortage of coal in India also. So there may be a power shortage, means energy is going to be expensive. There is a power shortage in China also, right? This is which is going to be expensive now. So the prices for the materials, steel prices are going higher, we know, right? And many supplies of precious materials are running low. So this linear economy more lead to the environmental damage, right? And focus is more economic. And whenever there is a end of life of the product, uh, manufacturer does not care about the product, or it normally goes for the land filling, right? So, or it may go for the waste disposal. So only when we want to improve the efficiency of the system in the linear economy, then it provides the short-term solutions, and we are more focused on economic efficiency of the supply chain or linear economy, right? So linear means what I discussed from left to right, flow of material, energy, you know, information flow, money flow, whatever is, it is starting from one end and ending on the other end. So uh, then why we want to, so these are the limitations of the linear economy. So what happened that in last few years, people are focusing more on the circular economy. So earlier the linear economy means make, use and dispose, right? So you make the product, then mm, you design the product, right? You manufacture the product by procuring the raw material, right? And then you distribute the product to the customer. So you make, use and dispose. But in the circular, what we do, rather than product is going, it goes into the, you sell it to the customer, right? And customer throw it into the dustbin. You don't care where the product is going. Here in the circular economy, what the circular economy says that being a manufacturer, you or being a stakeholder, you must develop a system so that you take care of the product when it is at the end of life. End of life maybe after full use, half use, right? Sometimes some defective products are produced. So we will talk more about this in coming slides, right? So when the products are being, uh, these products, when when these products go to the customer, they send they, they don't care about that. Just think of your mobile phone, right? So when you used your last mobile phone, what you have done with it, right? You have any idea? You don't know, right? Where your last mobile phone is. Where is this mobile phone is lying? So this circular economy says, being a stakeholder, either you do yourself or develop a system so that when product is at the end of life, or when the is product becomes dysfunctional, right? Then utilize the parts or component of the product, right? And utilize those parts or components in the system again, right? So you can, when a product is at the end of life, concept says, if you can read on the slide, we keep resources in use for as long as possible in the linear economy, while we extract the maximum value from them while in use, right? So what we do, whatever product we are using, we must recover the maximum value from them, right? So just take an example of sugar industry. There is bagasse, right? So sugar cane, then we take out the juice from our from the sugar cane, and then whatever wastage left, we use it as a raw material in the boiler, right? Or there are some other uses also from that bagasse, which are being used for manufacturing the cardboard also, right? Or we can use as a, just take the example of paper industry. When the paper is of no use, you can recycle it. Again, this new paper can be used as a raw material, right? And we can again reuse, recycle those papers, and we don't need to extract we don't need to use the virgin material. And the virgin material we use for the word virgin material we use normally for the use of material as new. So when we use new material, we call it virgin material. So we want to minimize the use of virgin material. So this circular economy says that extract the maximum value from the product, right? So this is how the circular economy works. So we can compare again here, very important to understand, right? The So we use the take, make, and dispose model. In circular economy, we have a different models which works on the principle of three R's. That is reduce, reuse, and recycle. If you remember, once our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, in one speech, he said we should make use of six R, right? So out of those six are for the manufacturing. I think he in Abu Dhabi in a speech he talked about six R. So out of those six R, three R's are here, right? Reuse, reduce, and recycle, right? So these three R's are there. So focus is that you use the use of virgin material. You must reuse of parts, component, or product itself. A lot of packaging is being reused, right? You see these cylinders, gas cylinders, we are reusing them, right? It is going again, refill, again come back, right? So this is reuse. Then recycle. Recycle means reducing the product to the raw material, right? So normally what happens that many people they use recycle term, right? Recycle more as a recycle they use more as a uh, when they are doing remanufacturing or refurbishing or anything is being reused or remanufactured, refurbished, people use recycle word, right? So technically that is not correct. However, in real life, people directly use the recycle word, right? But technically when we say recycle means using the product and converting the product into the raw material, right? So means product is simply when it is of no use, you converted it into the raw material and then it is used as a raw material, right? But this is not the case. We will discuss more thing here. So resources are extracted and products are produced. Uh, so here in the circular economy, we use the closed loop means rather than just extracting the resources and being used as an input, in circular economy, what we do, we use the minimum use of resources and we close the supply chain by using the whatever product is there when the product is used, we close the supply chain. How we close it, we will discuss more later in later slides. So products are used until they are discarded and disposed of as waste. So this is the main thing we are doing. And obviously in India also, if you see the mobile phone, we use it and then we dispose it. Even we don't know where my mobile phone is, right? So this is the basic problem and nowadays that and this e-waste is creating a lot of problem, right? So when we talk about the electric cars, right, or EV, so EVs are very popular in the market nowadays, and people are saying this is good for the environment. Obviously, it is good, right? But we are looking only at the one aspect of the environment, right? But it is not only the air pollution. Once you have electric vehicles, you have a different kind of waste, right? Batteries are being used, right? And when we are using the batteries, they are going to create e-waste, right? So we will see how it goes. However, the impact is reduced, but in long term, in short term, environmental impact is no doubt that we will have a more clean, neat and clean air, but at the same time, we will produce more e-waste, right? And this e-waste is going to create more problems in future. So people did not care 20 years back. We have a pollution problem today in Delhi particularly, and even the schools are shut down for number of days. So that is the uh, one of the thing you can see that the impact of pollution which we had in the uh, pollution in the environment, right? And we had an impact in our life. So if we do not care about the electronic waste today, it is going to create problem after 20 years or 30 years. And this is what the sustainability is, right? We care about the future generations. So we need to have more sustainable effort, right? And some people ask, I also argue, I don't know whether I am right or wrong, that whether this is sustainable or not. So when we use EV, right, it has a less impact, right, in other form. But you know, we are using the thermal energy, 80%, 70, 80%, you know, power is coming from the thermal system, right? And when we are using the thermal power plant, means we are making some pollution to the environment. This means this is not sustainable. So, but the product may be green, but the system is not sustainable. So this is also the one way to differentiate between the green and sustainability, right? And sustainability, think about whole system, right? While green is more focused on energy and material and more focused on the product, right? So this is important, right? That we must take care of. So when we talk about circularity, it takes care of both the things, right? So circular is more based on the system. Then value is created by maximizing the amount of products produced and sold. So in circular economy, value is created by focusing on value retention, right? So rather than focusing on economic aspect, focus is more on environmental and social also. And nowadays focus is more on whether we can extract some economic value also from those environmental and social activity. That is also the one point which is being discussed and people are doing research, right? So this is how I try to compare the linear economy and circular economy, right? So mm, some of the concepts which are very important, which are related to circular economy, and there are 8 concepts normally we discuss. One is cradle to cradle, natural capitalism, blue economy, performance economy, regenerative design, industrial ecology, closed supply chains, and reverse logistics. So today we are going to discuss one by one so that we understand them, right? And we can utilize them in future research while we are going for the manufacturing. So, or any other system when we are developing a new system or improving the existing system, we can utilize these concepts, right? So one of them is cradle to cradle, means cradle to cradle aims at minimizing the environmental damage, right? And we try to imitate the biological cycles, right? So in biological cycle, what happened, just like you see the paper product, right? So we are doing the production from plants, paper is coming, then product is being utilized, then it is being used, then it goes to biological degradation, then we add the biological nutrients, again we have plants. So here also in the system, we must, when the products are being used by the customer, it must move from cradle to cradle. Means just I discussed with you that use your cell phone and then you don't know where it is going. So when we use a concept of cradle to cradle, then if you see the Reliance model, earlier they tried to use that, they offered the phone and they said, okay, I am giving you this phone free, but you deposit 1500 rupees. So when after 3 years, when it is of no use, you can return the phone to me and I will give you the 1500 rupees. This means what? You are ensuring the return of the product. Or if you see in United States, what happens in Coca-Cola, right? If you give the empty bottle, uh, they will give you 50 cents. So they charge 50, or this amount may vary from state to state, right? So for example, you are buying a uh, Coke bottle and a plastic bottle, and 50 cent they will take in advance, right? And what happens when you uh, go and return the bottle, then so the model works like this. You pay the 50 cent. If you do not return the bottle, then that money will go to the municipal corporation. This means on some day you will throw the bottle and that bottle will be processed by the municipal corporation. Or if you return to the retailer, then they will uh, process it, right? And they will return you the 50 cents. So just by putting some monetary value, so different kinds of model are being used nowadays to ensure that products are coming back to the company, right? So if Reliance is able to collect the phone by giving them 1500 rupees, right? And then they can recycle it, reuse it. We will discuss about that, right? So this is the concept of, means there must be a visibility of the product, right? Particularly on the part of uh, manufacturer or OEM or producer, who's ever uh, is manufacturing the product. So in Europe, they have a producer's responsibility, right? But here in India, we have laws, but not so much enforced upon. Otherwise, suppose a company is forced to track the product, right? If the company is forced to track the product, they will have to track where the mobile is. And this means then we will not generate so much e-waste. So companies will have to come up with the models so that it is they can collect the mobile phone, right? Or washing machine or any other electronic products, or not only the electronic, any product, the company must have a business model in such a way that they have end-to-end solutions, right? There is another concept, blue economy. So this blue economy refers to the color of ocean or sky. So representing the largest component of the planet. So this shows that it is everywhere, right? And sky is everywhere and sky is blue. So basic principle of blue economy propose that local environment with its specific ecological features is the basis for sustainable solutions. In total, the blue economy is defined by the six principles. So before going into that, first principle is it must be local so that companies use what they have close to them. If you remember that when the pandemic was started and when the lockdown was there last year, the our honorable Prime Minister asked for vocal for local, right? So what was this vocal for local? So this vocal for local means focus on the local supply. And this term comes from this blue economy concept. And these concepts are not so new, you know. You said several years back, people have proposed these concepts, but our Prime Minister said focus on vocal for local. So same concept is here. A company should look for the solutions near the factory. Suppose a supplier, you are getting a supply from a uh, far distance and from the local. Just understand the difference, right? Means if you are buying from the local means less transportation is involved. Less transportation means less energy is being used, less environment pollution is there, right? And products are easily available. So when there was local, when there was shutdown, when the vehicles were not moving and during the lockdown, then if you have a local supply, even every one of us was getting the supply from the local shop, right? So that is what the blue economy concept is, that you whatever input you have, right? And even your customer, you must supply when you are supplying near to customer means less transportation cost, less energy consumption, less environmental impact, right? So you have so many advantages. And that's why this blue economy concept is very important. You I can give you an example of nano car, and the concept of nano car was introduced, you know, by the Tata company, and they had most of the supplier local. What they did, they gave land to the suppliers, they provided land to the suppliers, and they said you establish your manufacturing unit near or within the campus of nano manufacturing plant. So this was their plan in the Sangrur, and they tried to develop the. Unfortunately, this car couldn't get success because of marketing reasons, social reasons, whatever reasons were there. But the concept was to reduce the cost. But it was not only reducing the cost; it was contributing to the less pollution, less damage to the environment. And when you are developing the local suppliers, uh, when you develop the things from the local, then another advantage is that mm, that you provide the employment to the local people. You provide the uh, social services to the people. You create an environment of business in the local community. So it also contributes to the social sustain, right? So this is about the blue economy, right? So it should be efficient. Company should substitute something with nothing, means minimum utilization of product, parts, component, material, whatever input we have. Surrounding nature is mimicked with a systematic approach, right? So the blue economy aims at profitable solutions through optimization and generation of multiple cash flows, right? So it should satisfy all basic needs. It calls for an innovative culture to create the change, right? So whatever we have, focus is more on local. That obviously whatever we are studying, what we are talking about, everything we think in terms of economic, environmental, and social sustainability, all three aspects, right? Another concept is regenerative design. Regenerative design means the word regenerative stands for the fact that energy and material used for the design of products can be renewed and revitalized, right? So whatever system we have, we must have a regenerative design. Regenerative design means, as I discussed about the paper industry, sugar industry, right? So waste of one system is being utilized by the other system. So in some areas we already have, right? Like sugar, then we talked about paper industry, and where you can utilize the waste of one industry into the other. So we call it regenerative design. So we design the product or system in such a way that it can be renewed and revitalized. So all materials or waste should be reintroduced into the system or metamorph into the new valuable resources at the end of product life, right? So we must focus on the uh, whole system, particularly at the end of life. Particularly at the end of life, right? And nowadays, if people are using, you know, just you can see once the plastic bottles were utilized by the Levi's company. I think it was used by Levi's most probably. So they manufactured the jersey of the Indian cricket team. I think 2014, 15, 15 or 16, right? I think it was 2015, and they manufactured. I mean, these plastic bottles are being utilized to manufacture the fiber, and those fibers are being used for the manufacturing of the jersey of Indian cricket team, or they are manufacturing the jeans also. So this Levi's company is manufacturing jeans by using the plastic bottles, and that is how you can design the system, right? And you can utilize the system in such a way that whatever waste you have or at the end of life, the product or packaging, it may be utilized for something else. This is the whole so aim here, right? Then there is a closed loop supply chain, and this is very important, right? Uh, I think if I can explain this, this will serve your purpose of doing this FDP or this lecture, right? For this particular topic. If you see in the uh, first line, it is the flow of raw material. There is a manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and consumer. This is the typical product flow from left hand side to right hand side, right? We convert the raw material, we procure as a manufacturer, a company can procure the raw material and any other input, right? It can manufacture, convert it into the product and distribute it through the dealers, wholesalers to the, through retailers to the consumers. Or in the online, nowadays in e-commerce is there, so products may be directly sold from manufacturer or maybe distributed directly from manufacturer to the consumer, right? Now the product, these are the steps of reverse logistics, or you can say product acquisition, collection, right? Product acquisition means suppose the product is sold to the customer. Now what will happen? The product is good, customer is using it. Suppose product is defective, right? It may return it to the customer, and customer may, retailer may repair this on the shop itself, or it may go to the service center. Nowadays, normally they ask the, in case of mobile phone, they ask the consumer to go to the service center. From where you buy does not matter. It depends on the business model, right? So during the product acquisition means when the product is procured by the company, it is collected and transported by the company to the inspection and sorting facility, right? See, this is very important. When the products are being manufactured, for example, Baddi in Himachal Pradesh, now they are coming to the Delhi, and then they are being sold to the consumer. When the consumer return the product, then what will happen? It will go to the service center, right? So sometimes it is, it may, company may collect, or when you talk about the business model of Amazon, when you return the product, then the collector comes to you and they collect the product from you. Or what happens that sometimes they may ask you to go to the service center. It depends, right? Then it will go through the inspection, and after the inspection, you may know whether this product can be repaired or not. If it can be repaired, it is repaired and returned back to the consumer, right? This is one aspect which, so this is one of the R. If you see the second line, there are four terms: repair, reuse, remanufacture, and recycle, right? Suppose you cannot repair it, right? Then whether you can, or sometimes a new product is returned by the customer, then what you can do, you can reuse it, means it goes to the distributor, he can repackage it, and it maybe again go to the retailer and then to the consumer. Or if you return to the Amazon, product is new, there is no problem, then it can be reused. Or some parts or packaging may be reused many times. So packaging means when the product is returned, product is damaged, but packaging may be reused, right? So this is reused, means it again go to the distributor and then it goes to the retailer and consumer. Or what happens, you cannot reuse it, you cannot repair it because the damage is so much that you cannot repair at the service center. Then what you will do? You will go for the remanufacturing. Again here, 2-3 words are mainly used. One more word is used by the company, that is refurbish. Refurbish means if some minor part or component is damaged, suppose some packaging is damaged or only the casing is damaged, you can replace it. Means some minor repair is required. See, understand the difference. When it is going through the retailer, it is called repair. When it is coming to the company and same repair kind of thing is being done, it is called refurbish, right? Or suppose some crack is there, a small crack on the mobile phone on the bottom side or on the back side, and it makes no difference to the functionality of the product. Then what company can do, it can change and it is called refurbish. Suppose if company will have to have to deassemble the product. Means the product is there, you want to remanufacture, means you can uh, deassemble, and you can change the parts and components which are needed to be changed, and again you retest it, you check the quality, and then you distribute it to the consumer. That is called remanufacturing. Suppose you cannot reuse it, you cannot repair it, and you cannot remanufacture it, right? If you cannot do all these three things, then what option you have? You can recycle. Recycle means you can convert the product, you can simply crush the product, and you segregate the different materials, and you can recycle it. But you cannot recycle everything, right? There are many material, or some, for example, plastic. Sometimes it is, it is not easy to recycle it, right? Or you cannot use as a raw material, right? So nowadays some plastics are there which may be recycled. People are working on that, but sometimes it is not recyclable, or in a company you cannot, because you are outsourcing the plastic component. So company like Maruti, then they cannot recycle in their own facility. So sometimes you can recycle within your organization, and sometimes you can outsource the recycling. Since the recycling requires a very high volume and special expensive equipments are required, so most of the time recycling is outsourced. So that is the reason that we have so many recycling centers, even in Bangalore also, and in NCR Delhi also, where we have some centers where the recycling for different type of products may be carried out. So for the e-waste also there are recycling facilities available. Since high volume is required, so a company who is a recycler can collect the material or product from different location, and in bulk he may recycle and make money out of that business, right? So here when we talk about closed loop supply chain, whenever a product goes back to the company, right? Whether it is remanufacturing or reuse, or if recycling within the organization is being used, then we call it closed loop supply chain. Means no external manufacturer or recycler entered into the system, then we call it closed loop supply chain. Repairing comes under the open loop supply chain. So there is a closed loop supply chain, and there is a open loop supply chain. Now, I hope you understand. This circular economy is more focused, almost same as closed loop supply chain, but the focus is more on minimizing the use of uh, virgin material or new material into the product. So other concept we discussed along with this closed loop supply chain, they comes under the purview of closed loop supply chain, right? So there is another term which is called natural capitalism. Means biomimicry, one word is being used, and radical resource productivity, investing in natural capital, services, and flow economy. So natural capitalism has a natural capital, means it is focused on productivity of natural capital must be increased, right? So the product must be designed, new technology must be developed, right? So the focus must be on extending the useful life of the resources, right? So uh, means natural capitalism means preserving the natural capitalism, and natural capital or resources means minimum utilization of resources. So when you will minimize the use, so just like the see the phone, you can utilize the phone Maximum utilization of mobile phone means minimum utilization of new material, means you delay the use of new material, right? A phone you are using for 3 years and you are uh, so nowadays circular economy models, as I discussed, this circular economy more based on the circularity models or circular economy based models. Nowadays one more model, one popular model is rental model, right? Or we call it product service system. So in the rental model, what we do, just take the example of car, right? So company like Ola, they are, or I think Uber, Ola, some companies, they are involved in the driverless, vehicles, right? So developing the vehicles which may be driverless. So they are developing for the country like USA where the manpower is quite expensive. But just see outside your home, outside parking, and uh, anywhere you will see number of cars sitting idle, right? And this is what we need, more new and new car in the market. Just see the business model which is being proposed by some of the company, or they have started working on that. A driverless car running on the as a EV or running on some environment friendly fuels, right? And a, you need a car, you want to go to your office in the morning at 9 and you want to come back at 6, right? Out of 12 hours or 10 hours, for 8 hours your vehicle is idle and it is lying in the parking. What the new circular economy based model is coming into the picture is that you don't buy the product, you buy the service. Means product service system is being used, means now the company will offer the service to the customer. You want to go from home to the office, you send a SMS, Uber, Ola, or whatever company is there, you send an SMS. And once you send the SMS, then you get the car at your door. You sit in the car, you reach to your office, the car drops you on the office and it goes back, right? Again, this car will be utilized whole day if you rent this car for only through the SMS. If the reliable services are available, now see how much sustainable this system is. I don't say 100%, but it is more sustainable than the present system. And this is the best example I know about the circular based on circular economy. You don't need any parking space. You don't need insurance for yourself. You don't need to, you know, car insurance, right? Only thing you pay money for going from one place to other. If very reliable, ready to go service is available, if this is a driverless car, or in India we may have a driver car, it provides the employment to the people, and I think the cost will be very less. And same vehicle when you use whole day, I understand that it requires more maintenance. So spare parts and maintenance will come into the picture. And that's why this field may also grow in future, right? Because focus is on utilization. So requirement of number of cars will decrease considerably by using this concept, right? And this is the business model which is being worked out by many companies, right? Same thing you can think of mobile phone. I rent a mobile phone. After 3 years, now I want a new model. But this may be very successful in a country, our country, where we have a different market segmentation, right? So what happens that when you rent a mobile phone and you don't want to use that after 2 years, you can give it back to the company and company can provide you another phone. Now company can provide you a new phone or used phone, depends on the money you pay. So this means we can start with an era of using the used phone. Once we start using the used phone, so you return to the company. Company will again rent it to someone else, right? Pricing will be different, rent will be different, and there are the people who can rent the mobile and they can use that. Advantage is that we will utilize the resource fully. We need less new material, right? And uh, we can save the environment, right? So these are more sustainable solutions. And once the product is at the end of life, it will come back to the company rather than your phone, which is lying somewhere. You yourself don't know where your phone is, right? So here also this performance economy, this is focuses on the what I discussed. Actually, everything is connected with each other, right? And it must be, right? Separate things, doesn't matter. It must be in a circle. Everything must be connected with each other. So uh, here the performance economy or functional service economy means company must provide the full solution. As I said, product service solution. So just you take the example of Maruti True Value Program. So Maruti True Value Program is more focused on uh, extending the life of the used product. They have two advantages. One is they promote their customer to buy the higher end new vehicle. At the same time, they provide the customer with the upgraded vehicles. So they get the new business. They got the new business where they are using their spare parts, maintenance, right? So they are doing that and they are providing customer with their true value program, a old vehicle. So they are doing the social service, they are doing the environmental service, they are doing the economic service, right? So very uh, they are selling the service and upgrading the vehicle and selling it to the customer. So they are contributing to the extending the life of the product, right? Performance economy means more the system must focus on providing the services to the customer rather than the product. I gave you an example of mobile phone, then car, then there is another example of washing machine also. People change the washing machine, so uh, companies can provide the washing service rather than providing the machines. Same thing with the old case studies, many case studies on corporate manufacturing also. So nowadays, many companies provide the corporate manufacturing rather than uh, simply providing the carpet, they are providing the service also. So some carpet is, some damage or because of one region or other region, some part becomes useless, they can replace that particular part of the carpet, and that is how they can utilize the use of that carpet, right? So number of business models are there, and if you talk to the company like Accenture or IBM Consulting, or there are many people I know, they are mainly focusing on developing the circular economy based models, right? Where the way of doing business is changing. Or I can give you an example of Philips. So just like Philips, earlier they were using only, they were selling the lights. Now what they say that we'll provide the service. So this is called product service system. Now they take the, for example, the maintenance of a airport. So what happens that they provide the solution rather than the product. Solution is they have all the lights on the airport. They are provided by the Philips, they all are LED lights. So they provide the repair and maintenance service also in long term. So advantage is that the company don't need to develop their own facility. Everything is outsourced to Philips. Has all the parts, components of the product, so they can provide a much better service, more sustainable service to the organization, right? So this is performance economy, and it is more focused on, uh, utilizing the services for the resource efficiency and extended product life, right? So this is very popular and many students are there. And they can focus nowadays on uh, product service system which are being developed rather than the product itself, right? So more on the mm, rather than the research, more based on the developing the new business models. Same thing with the manufacturing also. Manufacturing is a part of that. So when the products are being developed, they must be developed in such a way, whether you are designing at a design stage, you must design in such a way that you can remanufacture them or refurbish them very easily. Just take the example of laptop, right? You can open your laptop and you can easily replace the parts and components. And this is because of its design. So when you focus on your design of the product, you must focus on designing the product in such a way so that you can easily repair it or recycle it, refurbish it, remanufacture it, or recycle. Same thing with the input material which you select, that it should minimize the minimum energy usage. It should minimize the use of virgin material, right? Same thing with the manufacturing also for each and every stage, right? You want to minimize these things so that it has minimum impact on the environment, right? So here you can say one more concept, that is industrial ecology, right? So industrial ecology, it is uh, just like it is the study of materials and energy flows through industrial systems, right? So it is like developing the industrial system. Ecology word is uh, written here just to imitate the nature. It says that whatever systems we develop, we must imitate the nature. Nature is self-sustaining. If you see that a lot of biological cycles we study in biology in class 10 and 12, and you see they are self-sustaining, and goat is eating the grass, and then man is eating the goat, and then the waste is going again into the nature, and that waste is also utilized by the nature. So if you see the biological cycle, this is, natural cycles, and this industrial ecology, it also says that design the industrial systems so that they are self-sustainable. So mimic the biological cycles, right? So these are the 8 principles which are very important. And the last one is reverse logistics, which I have already discussed, right? Reverse logistics means once you sell the product to the customer, right? Whatever you do with the product, it comes under the purview of reverse logistics. However, in some book, you will read the definition that transporting the used product or end of life product from consumer to the manufacturing organization. So whatever, whether it is a repair, reuse, remanufacture, or recycle, whatever activities you have, they comes under the purview of reverse logistics, right? So this is very important. Why it is called circular? You know, linear, raw material, manufacturing, distribution, retailer, and consumer, this form half of the circle, and half of the circle is formed by the reverse logistics. So overall, we start in a circle from one point and we reaches to the same point, circle completes, and that's why you see if we can Rather than, sir, you see, these are the closed loop. So earlier it was called circular closed loop supply chain. In modern era, we are calling the circular supply chain. Some people call it circular supply chain also using. Then they use the term circular economy, where number of concepts are being used in whole of the cycle, right? So these are the benefits of uh, closed loop supply chain or circular economy, that is cleaner production by using the fewer resources, right? Then the better service to extend the span, then collect at end of life, remanufacture, reuse, recycle. So all these are very important, right? And that is how you recycle. So there are more slides, but I don't think time allow that. And these are the business models. You can read them, but I have already discussed, right? Circular innovation model, then circular use models and circular output models. So this may be that we design the product in such a way that we can repair, maintain, refurbish, remanufacture, recycle in a more effective manner. So overall focus is same what I said, that whether it is a product, process, or whatever supplies you are getting, focus must be on these R, so that we can reach to the sustainable system. So then there are some circular use models where we can use product as a service. Sale and buyback model. This is also very popular, where the company buy back the product, right? So just HP printer, they had a uh, offer of selling back the cartridge, sending back to the company for $10, and that is how they were buying back the. Or you see this battery model, right? So in battery, what you do, you give the old battery and you get the new battery. So that battery is buyback by the company. Then they utilize the parts and components. So that also contribute to the circular economy. Then there may be sharing platforms model, where two companies work together and one company is providing the products, other company is providing services. So sharing platform with the other company, so that you contribute to the sustainability. Then the lifetime extension model, right? Means where you want to extend the lifetime of the product. Then one last term is tracing facility model. So there are companies like greendust.com, and whenever I talk about circular economy or sustainability, I always take the name of this company, greendust.com. And one of the person who started this company, who was working in Microsoft and started the company in India. Now it is more than 100 crore rupees company, where they are collecting the used product or defective product from the customer or end of life product. They recondition them, remanufacture or refurbish them, and then selling the refurbished product on their website. So this greendust.com company sells the old products after conditioning. Dell also has a web page for selling the refurbished computers. On their website, you can see that they sell the old computers after refurbishing. And nowadays I see in Amazon also, you see the refurbished and remanufactured AC and other products are being sold to the customer on their open platform. Earlier, the companies were selling through the secondary as a secondary outlet or some other ways, because they were not feeling good that we should not sell the old product. But nowadays, it is a pride that companies are feeling while selling the old product. So there is one, then customer output models, right? It talks about the recapturing value, refurbishing, maintenance model, recycling facility, recovery and support life cycle. So all these things I have discussed. One case study is there, reference I have given. you can take this research paper and you can read this, particularly the manufacturing people, they can read this and they can see that how much valuable this uh, case study is, which provides the different options of tool remanufacturing. So tools which are being used, they can be used as a recycled, as a remanufactured, and there is a trading option. So three business models are suggested, and everyone has its good and bad. By reading this case study, you can understand that how important it is to have a business models. So these are some of the examples I have already given, right? We are short of time, otherwise read this case study and this is very valuable, right? So that is how I end here. So thanks to all of you. If you have any questions, you can ask, right?
Thank you, sir, for this great lecture on the circular economy. Now, I would like to invite the participants. If you have any question, you can ask from our expert. Okay, sir, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
Sir, there is a change in the manufacturing sector in India and also in the world all over. Industry 4.0 is coming in the picture. So, Industry 4.0 will be uh, boon or bane for the sustainable manufacturing, or what I want to know.
Now you ask your organizer to have one more lecture on industry, one lecture on industry 4, so that uh, no, it is the sustainability depends on how you are using that. But now the people are using, so uh, now the people are using industry 4 and circular economy together, right? So that you achieve the circularity. So you reach to the efficiency through the uh, industry 4. You are modernizing your system. This is very good, particularly after the pandemic, because less manpower is involved in the industry 4. So you can carry out your system with minimum interference of human beings or workers on the shop floor, right? So, I mean, there is no issue of pandemic or spread of COVID-19 like any uh, disease or anything, because minimum use of manpower. But at the same time, you are using the modern facilities. So nowadays, people are working on industry 4 and circular economy together, so that you make use of industry 4 while keeping in mind the circular economy while designing any system.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So I think there is not any question from the participant side. So we will end this session here right now. And there is a lunch break between 1:15 to 2:30. And we have a little change in the schedule. Session 3 will begin on 2:30 p.m. and it will be given by Dr. R.S. Walia instead of Dr. Mohit Tyagi. So be ready at 2:30. The lecture will be delivered by Dr. R.S. Walia. Thank you.